What's cracking? We are live. We are live and in effect right here. A little something different to talk about tonight. A little something different to talk about. Let's see who gets in here, man. What's up to Pedro, to Alvaro, and let's see who gets in here, man. Let me turn the music off. Let me see who all jumps in, man. Shout out to everyone that's coming in here, man. We appreciate you guys tonight. Oh, okay. So I turned off the wrong thing. The music's going, huh? In the background?
Yeah.
What's up to everyone that's in here, man? We appreciate you. Miss Lady Blues World. Hello, hello. Sadie says evening. Victor Ramirez, Jorge. Everybody, man, we appreciate you. Shout out to New Zealand. You know, so we got 130 in here. So with all this talk going around about the Haros and the case they're going through and are they guilty or not guilty, we wanted to leave them where they belong. The fuck up out of here, right? And we wanted to, you know, thank you, Ted. We wanted to, you know, have a night for Emmanuel. We wanted to have a night for him, you know, bring justice for him and talk about him and talk about the people out there, man, who care for him and everyone that's been fighting, like on the Tira and a lot of others that have been fighting the good fight out there, looking, making content, putting their little part into helping bring justice and find his body and find his soul, you know, and bring him back to where he belongs with people that are caring, because it seems like he never got that in his life. So we didn't want to focus on the parents tonight. We want to focus on, and we can't even call them parents, we want to focus on Emmanuel, and that's it. How can you hurt any child, let alone your own? That's a question that should not even be asked or even answered. It's crazy to even have to ask that question. You know, my thing is this, Dubs. Why? You know, we all got a higher power. I know you have your religious beliefs, and we both got similar beliefs, man, where you don't have to go to church, man. You, as long as you have a good relationship with your higher power, it is what it is, right? I've always asked this question. It's probably a question a lot of people ask. Why is a child brought into the world where there is no love? Why? Is there a plan? Is it God's plan, or what do you think?
Oh, hold on. I was muted. My bad. I think you know what? Some of it is poor parenting. Some of it is kids not having parents, you know? And so, sex is frivolous to them. They don't understand, when you have sex and someone gets pregnant because of that, that's a lifelong responsibility, you know? And, it was like I was talking to one of my homies today, and he was talking about his stepson's 14 and about to start college, right?
Yeah.
And he is starting to get girlfriends and stuff, right? And I told him, hey, Holmes, make sure you explain to him, Holmes, that when you start doing grown-up things, you get grown-up problems. And yeah. I don't know, Holmes. I don't know, you know, as much of a mess up as I was when I was a youngster, I have one child,
Yeah.
I have one. And I remember my road dog, we used to talk about it because we were both, you know, raised with a single, in a home with a single parent, our moms.
Yeah.
And we had a pact, me and my road dog, Holmes, we're not going to have kids all over the place. Like, when we have kids, we're going to take care of them. And, you know, I got my ex-wife, my first wife, pregnant, and 8 weeks later, I'm fucking fighting the death penalty. You know, and since I've been out, you know, it's just like shit. You know, I have my daughter. It is what it is. I didn't get to have the opportunity that these two monsters had, and they didn't give a damn about. I wish I would have been able to see my daughter take her first step and, you know, do all the first things with my daughter.
Yeah, you know, the way and the way I'm looking at it is like this. It's just a question that I asked. I was thinking about it last night. I was laying there and I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Why? Me being a religious person and like I said, having my relationship with my higher power, I asked the question last night, why was a child born? You know, when so many people are out there trying to have kids and they can't, that would just love to have a child, right? Why is a child born to monsters? Because you know, God knows everything, knowing that there's going to be no love in that household, knowing that their love that they have is fake, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand, you know, what the reasoning is behind it, but I guess it's a question we won't get answered until maybe later on in the next life or wherever we go, you know.
Well, you know, I know there's people that have different beliefs and different religions in here. Be respectful to all of them, but I'm going to say in my belief in Christianity, anybody that has questions on why people suffer, why people die, why people get sick, read the book of Job, and the answer is right there. You know, in the book of Job, God cast the devil upon the earth and said, "Do with it what you want. You still can't turn everyone against me." And unfortunately for us human beings, throughout our life, we're caught in the middle of a war between God and the devil. And so shit like this happens, man.
Thank you,
and
Lali.
it's unfortunate. And the devil does it to make people question their God, their faith, their religion.
Yeah. No, yeah. He tested Job. He tested Job to see how faithful he was. And then he blessed him after taking everything away, even his children. Then he blessed them. And you know what? Someone said something right here, man. Victor Ramirez, respect for that, bro. I think you're right. I think God used Emmanuel as an instrument to get rid of these monsters. You know, maybe he was used as an instrument of God to bring and shed some light. Just like I believe Natira, man, is someone that's out there shedding light, right? I believe he's you know, remember we talked about angels, Dubs? Real life. There's real life angels, and they come in all forms, right? And you know, I could tell you guys a crazy story. I've told it before, man. Truth. You know, there's angels out there, and sometimes when you need them the most, man, someone will appear that you've never seen before, never will see after, that'll come and save you in a time of need. Sometimes there isn't. Just depends. But I believe maybe
here's my thing. I don't believe that God is using this incident. I don't believe God is using this as an instrument of something, because God wouldn't put baby Emmanuel through that. The devil did that. The devil and those that believe in him did that. What is happening is the aftermath of that is God's love. When you see people doing all these lives and you see people going to the courthouse, that right there is when the devil does what he does. Then you see the people that he's not going to turn on his side, show up and say, "Hey, man, we got to love. We got to try to do whatever we can do to make sure this baby's found," or something, you know?
Yes. Hey, that's one thing that this whole thing has shown, that there's still humanity, Dubs. There's still humanity. There's a lot of people, man, that are coming together for this child, right? This child is more loved right now than he ever was.
And check this out.
Yeah.
And check this out. So we're having this conversation, and it's a beautiful conversation, right? And then we hear the other side of it. We hear on the Tira talk about he's getting death threats. He's getting doxxed. Those are the people that love what happened to baby Emmanuel. They can justify it within their own minds and hearts. And those are the fucking people, those are the kind of people you don't ever want to run into. You don't want to have them in your life. You don't want to call them friends or family. You don't want to have nothing to do with them.
I agree.
It's crazy, Holmes. It really is, that people would be mad at any content creator. Let's say they did put out something that was wrong. I'm sure they're going to come back and say, "Hey, you know what? I got that wrong." But their intentions are what you go by, you know?
Yeah.
And when somebody brutalizes a child and someone else can justify what they did, that means they're willing to do it themselves.
Exactly. Hey, if you could justify that by any reasoning, then you are as guilty as they are. You know, there's no justification for it. There's no way to slice it, dice it, cut it, flip it. A child should never be hurt, ever. They're defenseless. They're children. You know, they can't protect themselves. They're sacred, man. Children are a blessing, truly a blessing. If you're a parent out there, then you understand what I'm talking about. There's not one time that you don't look at your kid just to yourself and you think, "Damn, I made that, man. That's a trip." You know, it trips you out. Even when your children are older, you're like, you can see them in you or you in them, and you're like, "That's a trip, right? That's part of me right there." So the love is like something that whoever instills in you, like you should have that. You know, that's why I don't understand these monsters have to be possessed by the devil. Drugs play a big part. A lot of things to even consider hurting your child or doing things like this, I understand about discipline, but this is not discipline. This is a baby should not be disciplined. You know what I mean? Not a baby. Babies can't control them or they're crying or what they do. You know, they don't know no better. This just was a messed up situation, and I think I'm happy to know that Emmanuel is away from them. If anything, whether it be in life or death, he's away. He's finally away. You know, because that right there. Imagine living like that, Dubs. I mean, he's so little he doesn't remember, but you know he didn't know. But imagine the children that did see this. There was other children in that household from time to time. They had that 2-year-old, and then they had. I know she has a 16-year-old, and again, I don't know if her 16-year-old was living in the household or with the father, or however that was going. But I'm sure that these children experienced, you know, arguments, chaos, yelling, screaming. Those type of households like that, it happens all the time.
And JTB says, I'm sure you both have seen it. When someone uses meth, you can see the demonic expressions in their faces. Absolutely. And somebody, because I don't believe that Jake fell asleep and rolled over on the child. And somebody reminded me, meth was never I was never a hardcore drug user. I dabbled in it when now and then when I was a kid. Hey, thank you. But somebody told me when you have people that are hardcore meth addicts, and I don't know that they are, but if they were, and they were up 4, 5, 6 days, when they do fall asleep, it's like a coma.
Yeah.
And in that state, and I'm not trying to give this fucking ass, I'm not trying to give this guy an excuse, but that could have happened. But even if that happened, if you love your child, when you wake up, you call 911 and you tell hey, I need an ambulance here now, because you woke up, you didn't know how long the baby had passed.
Yeah, you immediately call 911.
You call 911 and say, hey, my baby's not breathing. I slept on my baby by accident. I didn't know. Boop.
Yeah.
You don't. Your first thought isn't, let me just throw him in the trash.
Yeah, that right there. And look, straight up, we all know it was bullshit. That guy's full of excuses. His new excuse is he just got interviewed, and I don't even want to make it about them, but we have to. The other excuse with the daughter was that he was taking her a bath and he dropped her and she fell and hit her head on the thing.
She was strangled. They already said she has the tracheotomy, whatever you call it, because of strangulation.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. She
had fractures all over her body.
Yeah, and I'm sure Emmanuel had the same thing. This guy right there, he's just a piece of shit, man. He's just the devil, right? The devil's in him. You know, the devil's in them. And I hate people that blame their actions because of drugs. I know I got family members that are straight drug addicts and they wouldn't touch a kid.
Hey, real quick, General asked, what's a hot shot? A hot shot is when you give somebody drugs that are going to kill you. You know that, like, it's one thing to give somebody, a specific drug, right? And it does what it does. But when something is intentionally mixed in or it's not cut, and if somebody slams this dope or does this drug, it will kill them. That's what you call giving somebody a hot shot. It's intentional. It's just you're taking someone's life through drugs, through whatever their habit is.
Dead Mike says he's gonna have more than the devil in him. Unfortunately, probably not, bro. Probably not, man. These type of individuals, for some reason, are protected within the system. But again, man, that's just depending upon where he goes and all that. The focus should be on Emmanuel, right? When are they going to find him? Now, what do you think, Dubs? Do you think they know where he's at, or they're just holding the information in for now, or do you?
Well, they said they have an idea. Well, you have an idea of where he was left a month, maybe 2, maybe 3. We don't know how many months ago.
Well, there's a picture at Costco where they said it was taken from the 10th, so that you can see the baby.
Maybe the 10th. We're going to count from the 10th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So wherever they think that is, don't wait another day. Hopefully they're over there. And that's the thing. Like I said in my video, the authorities are not going to let us know. And I think that's the problem they were having with a lot of these guys. Yeah. Is like it's like in the joint. It's like in prison. If you're made privy, if you're made aware of something, then you're made aware of it and shut up, and that's knowledge for you. What's happening is there's certain things that people were becoming made aware of, and they couldn't run to a camera fast enough, right? Yeah. And I think that's what the authorities were mad about, like this Perkins operation, utilizing an inmate to get information. As soon as it was reported, they can no longer use a fucking inmate. Excuse me, I'm trying not to cuss. They can no longer use that as a tool to get information out. And I guarantee you that's why they were mad. And when they say, oh, he never confessed, he didn't confess to authorities, that doesn't mean that he didn't have a look, you and I know when you have a conversation with somebody, that's a confession, Holmes.
Yes.
That can be used against you. I don't care who it is.
Well, it's just like the guys that try to justify, I didn't testify against him. Did you make statements? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all they need.
Yeah.
You know, guys will be like, well, I didn't testify, I didn't go on stand, but you made statements, so it's too late. You didn't have to.
Perfect example. My crimey. I wasn't even, they weren't even looking for me. 2 days later, he turns himself in, tells them that I'm the one that did it. They sent out a task force and arrest me. But then later he's like, well, I'm not going to take the stand. And my lawyer said, because they put him on the stand, he said he refused to cooperate. And my attorney said, why do you refuse to cooperate? He goes, I'm not going to help you prosecute that man. I'm not going to help the state prosecute him. And my lawyer said, you're the reason why he got arrested. Told him on record. He goes, you're the one that told him who he was.
Yeah, like, you're the whole reason.
Stop answering questions now? Anyways, this isn't about me, though.
No, but so here's a question I have for you. Maybe you could answer it. Having went through a murder trial as an adult. I went through one as a minor. You went through one as an adult. Look, I seen that they put out the recent charges for Emmanuel's the guy who had him in his house, right? Jake. And he was charged with 2 murders for malice. What's that all about? Two of them. Murder for malice, and it goes on. Yes, it's right there. You can look online. It says murder for malice, and it names a couple other charges. It says murder for malice again. Is it a clerical error, or do you think he has charged twice?
Maybe that's a clerical error because there's only one victim. You can't be charged with murder twice on one body.
Exactly, no double jeopardy type thing. But
I mean, I'll give you. Well, I'm not going to go into my stuff, but yeah, you can't have. It's just like you can't have 2 different assaults on a body.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas? Props to speaking out on this RIP Emmanuel. It's so unfortunate that they have not found his body, and we're all going around saying rest in peace. Because we know. I think as a parent, as just a person, a good-hearted person, the moment we seen them Rebecca and Jake in front of Big Five, we all had that same gut feeling. We all had that same gut feeling that I mean, it was lies, but even more so, something bad happened to that baby, man. I remember the first time I seen it, I was like, man, that poor baby's gone. And now as I've done more of the content and looked into it and talked to people, like it becomes where like not an obsession, but it's like a must that we need them to find this baby. A must.
Absolutely.
This baby needs some justice. Emmanuel needs justice. And I'm so happy that Andatira was a blessing to do what he did to put this whole thing in motion, because regardless of what San Bernardino Sheriff's Office and Riverside Sheriff's Office say, how they collabed and worked great together. Fuck them and their greatness, right? I'm going to tell you who worked great. All the people that were out there on the scene, man, having their voices heard and making sure that this child's voice was felt. They were the voice of the voiceless. He couldn't speak, but he was speaking from the grave through these people. I respect them, man. I don't care what anyone says. And for those that are going against Andatira for making one he misspoke once. Come on, man. I'd have did the same thing.
Newspapers have to retract statements all the time. Newspapers have to retract sections of articles all the time. It happens, man.
We're only human.
You can't. They shouldn't be trying to hold him to a higher standard. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Al Merck says, honestly, man, I have a bad feeling he was sold. There's too much blood in the house. There's too much blood in the house. She bought a hacksaw blade for a reason, and there's too much blood in the house.
Well, I seen where the sheriff made a statement, Dubs, that said whoever put out the misinformation that they bought lye and the certain items, it never happened, is what he's saying. It was just all misinformation, a made-up story. I seen the video of her at the store buying what appeared to be a hacksaw blade. Whether it was or wasn't, I don't know. That's what it seemed to look like, you know.
Well, regardless, whoever thinks, Al Merckx and anybody else that thinks the baby was sold, the sheriff said they have an idea where the body is. So They feel like they know where the body is for whatever reason, and they can say that Jake hasn't said anything and Rebecca's not saying anything. Well, then how the hell did you figure out where? And I have an idea. Where do you get an idea from?
Hey Gina, I see. She says it's the keyboard warriors who made this national. There's two different definitions of a keyboard warrior. The one we think about most are people that are talking shit online. They're warring it out, right? Keyboard warriors. But there's also warriors that utilize those keyboards for a good cause. This right here, fighting for Emmanuel.
Here's my thing. These reporters, like for the LA Times, New York Times, Washington Post, they don't type anything out. They don't use a keyboard. The fuck?
I know.
Where do we draw the line? Who's a keyboard warrior and who's not?
Yeah.
And anybody that talks about keyboard warriors, like I said about the sheriff, don't call the news fake if they put out a story that you don't like. You can't have it two ways.
Well, you know what was crazy was he thanked big time media, right? Not social media, kind of diss social media, all of us that are part of social media and that do these types of stories. But he shot a big old shout out to mainstream media, right? Funny thing is, everything that mainstream media was reporting was what Anda Tira was up putting out first. They were basically taking his stories. Yeah, that's like 99% of what they were saying was based off of what he said. So come on now, man. I've done a couple videos on it, man. I give that dude all the respect for what he did for Emmanuel, and it's so sad. You can see the hurt in him that he had to step away, and I understand why. Whether it was a threat, I think it had to do with the cops.
When he was talking about TMZ, he got very emotional. I think he even shed a couple of tears. He was so, I think he was blown away. He's trying to do something good. And if he makes a couple mistakes along the way, he'll fix them. You know what I mean? But his intentions are right, just like all of us. And, they came down on him the way they did. And, I get it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with good old Hector Bravo, man, and the things that he puts out on his channels, and then you got the CDCR who's strictly against what he's putting out. You're gonna have people, and it's hard as a man with the good intentions, man. There's always a big bad monster, man, and in this case, TMZ. And I don't want to disrespect them, but they are that big bad monster when it comes to content, man. They want to be the first ones. They're used to being the first ones, and I think that they had an issue with Anda Tira because he was beating them to the punch.
That's all it was.
Yeah, he was beating him to the punch. He was out there pounding pavement.
TMZ is known to get everything first. And when you have someone who's out there, I mean, this guy's going through chemo. He's got cancer, and he's out there. The vato fainted. I'm sure he's not drinking, Pedialytes and whatever else to replenish whatever electrolytes he's sweating out. He's probably drinking water. That's not going to replace what you're sweating out.
Water doesn't hydrate you.
Well, he's putting his health at risk, his life at risk. Because of the cancer, it is putting his life at risk. When you're fighting a cancer, I don't know what, I think he had bone cancer. I don't know, whatever it was, and for him to be doing all that and people to be upset, come on, man. Competition is great, no matter what field it is. It makes people better at what they do.
Malik says, on top of all this, the Mr. Ola story was the most insane part. I think all this is the most insane part. I think anytime we're talking about a child missing, kidnapped, dead, is an insane thing, but to top it off, when it's the parents who did it, now that's really insane, man. That's beyond insane. That's it's almost to the point of we don't understand it. For those people that are normal, when I say normal, we're all different. We're all built different. We all think and raised different, but we all have most of us the common understanding that a child, man, is sacred and you need to take care of kids. I mean, I feel like that too when I'm walking down the street, man, and someone else's kid runs in the street. The first thing I'm going to do is go grab that kid. Hey, you know what I mean? That's just automatic. That's parental instincts, human instincts. These are the type of people that will push them into the car.
Gunner and I haven't yet, but Autism Riley says prayers for the children who lost their lives to the transgender shooter. We need to be looking into that tomorrow. I don't know if we'll do a live about it or some stories, but we're definitely going to look into that because I did see some troubling stuff out of the shooter, what he had to say about the kids. And, this is, I'm telling you, this is pure evil we're witnessing.
Yeah. And if you notice, it's starting to happen more and more. We're starting to see it more and more.
The problem whenever there's a mass shooting, what's always the main problem? What's always the main fear? A copycat.
Yes. And it happens a lot.
because you have some people that are miserable, that have no friends, that have, for whatever reason, they're socially awkward, whatever it is, they have no friends, and they see somebody that shoots something up, and they see that person get all this attention, and they're willing to do that just to feel loved. The world is crazy, man.
You know what's crazy though? When people think, oh, because automatically when someone shoots up a school, you think, well, they're crazy, they're on drugs, they're crazy. They're not crazy enough to understand they're going to do it to a school where they can't protect themselves. See, they won't go. Most of these shooters won't go do it around a whole bunch of grown men. They do it to like schools, like very, very people that they know can't defend themselves. Very vulnerable people.
It's that, and it's also shock value. How can you hurt? How can you get the most shock? You go after children and then women and then the elderly.
Yeah.
People that go after those three, it's like you're just left like, fuck, Holmes, like you were a block over from somebody that would have probably had a gun and had a shootout with you at least, but they don't want that.
I agree.
Kamai says, as long as you guys don't read the manifesto or play his videos, YouTube won't take it down. No, we're definitely not going to give him any airtime. Not at all.
Nothing like that. It'd be more geared towards the victims, and we got to look into it. I've read a few things on it, but I haven't really got into it like I should. But we will, man. Excellent videos the past few days, Guns and Dubs. Thank you, man. We appreciate it, AC, man. We've been just trying to, myself, we had a great conversation the other day, man, myself and Dubs. And we know that a lot of you that have been watching our channels for years are looking at our channels they're looked to as prison genre channels. We're trying to stray away from that, man. We've told a lot of prison stories. And I mean, eventually you run out. Eventually, I mean, you can only say so much. Not saying that I've ran out totally or Dubs ran out. There's stories that we cannot tell you because we just can't, right? Those could make us go viral, but we just won't. But we want to get into more positive and more just different types of content, man. I think as the weeks come and go, man, you guys are gonna see we're gonna gear more towards something a little different. You guys are gonna like it, It's time to elevate. Definitely time to elevate. We are living in demonic times. Absolutely, man. Things now are right in front of you. Things that you used to hear about and not see, now it's starting to happen in our communities. We're seeing it. It's unfortunate. We're talking about a baby, a little baby born into a home. And I've heard a lot of stories, meth addicts, dope fiends, a dope house. I've seen people like that. I've been to homes that were like that, where I've seen kids struggling, and I've just, like, wow, it blows my mind. Hey, Roman, gracias, man. I appreciate that, man. Shout out to the AZ. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Gail, thank you so much. I just don't mean to derail, but what is your TikTok? It's Gunners Collective is my TikTok. Gunners Collective. I enjoy the prison stories you guys have raised. A lot of awareness, especially you, Dubs. Yeah, Dubs is the go-to, man.
No, and I'm still gonna do some from time to time. You guys know me. Yeah. I'm only gonna tell a story, especially a prison story. I'm only gonna tell a prison story if there's a message behind it. I'm not ever gonna tell a story just to tell a story like, oh, ain't I cool? Because I was there. I wasn't cool. I failed in society. I turned my back on my family. I turned my back on my community, society, and luckily I turned into a man in prison and was able to get out and have a second chance.
Exactly, Ezekiel. Casey Anthony's story all over again. Exactly. And you know how that ended up with her acquittal, right? I've been thinking about this case, man, and I know they've both been charged with the murder, and it's just there's a lot of ins and outs. A lot of us assume that Jake is gonna do what he did in the first case and tell on and blame it on her, like he blamed it on his first wife. But then I'm hearing he's admitting it and trying to take full responsibility. Well, she's still guilty of accessory.
I just heard that in the interview he did, he said that he never talked to another inmate, that he's in isolation, that he's gathering up the money to make bail, and that he loves Rebecca still, that they're both innocent, and he can't wait to get out and get back to his kids. The audacity, right? Yeah,
The
you really think
audacity.
if you could, I don't believe he's getting bail. I don't believe anything he said. But let's
Right.
just play along. Let's just play stupid and you make
Mhm.
bail. You think the courts are gonna be like, yeah, you can go. You have joint suspension. How
Yeah.
are you even eligible for bail? You got
He got
joint.
caught with a gun.
You are going to be on a parole hold,
Yes, you're going to
probation
prison. You don't
hold.
get. He's
He
got $1
actually
million bail on that
he's
case, but he's got a parole
no,
hold on the
listen.
other.
He's talking to the part of America that doesn't know anything about
Exactly.
criminality, the criminal justice system. When you are on joint suspension and you catch a case, that suspension is no longer suspended. You
You
got
are
time.
now doing that time. Yeah, that time kicks in. You know, that's why that joint suspension thing, man. When
heard
I
something
used to have
different.
friends that used to get it.
What'd you hear, JTB?
Let's see. JP Dubs, I heard something different. He's not coming
And
out.
that's
You can have bail, but still have a hold. Bail on one case, but a hold on another. It's California. Anything could happen. Anything could happen in California, but when you have several
really, okay,
charges,
hold
when
on,
you
hold
have possession of a firearm by an ex-con.
Well, hold on. So that's actually factual, right?
Mhm.
But in the case this high profile, what probation officer is going to sign off on that release?
Not one. Not one. Not one.
I don't believe
In
it.
fact, now he's finally, if anything, let's just say by a miracle, and it would be a miracle, baby Emmanuel pops up. Someone brings him up
Okay,
forward,
JTB.
right? Let's just say that happens.
Mhm.
And he still ain't going nowhere. He still ain't going nowhere. He got caught with a
Yeah.
firearm. He still ain't going nowhere. That man needs to suffer for what he did to that girl. If not for Emmanuel, for that daughter.
Hey, that's just,
Thank you,
Roman,
Roman.
gracias.
He needs to suffer for what he did to his daughter, man. Period. Plain and simple. That man is a piece of shit. Excuse my language for that right there. Without even getting to Emmanuel, but he's already took him to a spot where he says he's already admitted that he killed him. Whether it was accidental or not, he's admitted it. There's been several different stories. The truth of the matter is, man, the baby's gone and he needs justice. They said, yes, Promise needs justice too. Exactly. Both children need justice. She did not get the justice she deserves the first time around. Not close. A joint suspension? That's crazy. I don't even see how that was offered. How the hell was that offered? Was that a breakdown in the system, Dubs?
Absolutely. I know a homie. I was in YA with him. He got out. One of his enemies walked up on him, stuck a gun in his stomach, and pulled the trigger. The homie took the gun from him and killed the guy. He got 12 years for manslaughter. He was shot. His stomach, everything was mangled. He took the shooter's gun, shot him with it, and got 12 years. This dude beats a harmless child and gets it's okay. Go back home. Go to your
one day in jail.
It's crazy.
Then gets caught with a firearm on a joint suspension and doesn't get a suspension. Is this guy fucking bulletproof or what? Like, man, I went to fucking prison for stealing someone's hat.
What?
Robbery for a hat from a gas station. Oh,
Damn.
man.
Wait. No, I'm not gonna joke around. Never mind.
Tell it like it is. I know. I'm ashamed too. I was innocent for reals. I didn't even touch the hat. I wish I would have. All the time I did behind that, picking up more cases. But the thing is, it's not a laughing matter. There's a child missing, and you know what? I like to believe. In my gut, I know we all know he's gone, but I like to believe that there's that slim possibility. Just like they just said, anything could happen.
What possibility?
The possibility that Emmanuel's safe somewhere. I mean, I know it's not true.
No.
He's safer than he was, though.
Look, if he was no. If baby Emmanuel was alive right now, he'd be in a very horrible situation.
Yeah.
No, I no. Yeah, there's no way I would want him to still be alive. I wish it would have never happened. But if he's still alive, but we go back to supposedly. We got to make sure we say allegedly and all that stuff.
Yeah,
there was a large amount of blood found in the home.
Yeah. So here's a question that's been asked a lot of times. I wanted to ask you, Dubs. The next day, Jake's sister puts out a statement that she took down hours later on Instagram. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you,
She
Ted.
puts up a statement talking about, her brother would never do anything like this. They're concerned. They haven't slept. They haven't ate. All this drag. She takes it down. So that shows me either one, she was trying to cover. Obviously, she knew the story of what was going on. So is she complicit in this? And is the grandmother complicit by some of the things she said? Like she was by them covering for them, or are they just being good family and just trying to cover?
How's that good family?
I know, but like if they didn't know,
no. What I'm saying is, let my brother, let my cousin do some shit like that. Fuck that fool.
I understand. But what if
you got me cussing?
What if I'm your brother and I tell you, hey, my old lady calls me and says, hey, my kid's missing it, and then of course you're gonna be like, you're riding with me, you know what I mean? Like, hey, from what we know that his kid's missing, this and that, he would never do nothing like that. Like, but we're talking about a guy who has already done it to her niece.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
That's the difference. We talked about this, we discussed it, and this is the truth. If Jake Harrow did not have those prior charges, he would have action with nobody. There was a little bit of action there. But because of the charges he has prior, we already know what he's capable of. And we know the type of individual he really is. Because there's no hiding behind glasses and a mask.
Because of the charge, the case with his daughter, and the fact that nobody has ever said he showed remorse in that case. He blames someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He's got a tendency to do that, man. And he's gonna blame the people closest to him, which is his partner, right? His woman. We're listening in Ireland. Thank you, man. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate everyone that's in here. We got 450 in the building, and we appreciate each and every one of you that are coming in. Again, this is a night for justice for Emmanuel. The parents, we hope they get exactly what they got coming, which is a lifetime of misery, because they don't even have the rights to be called parents at this point. They're just, I can't even begin to believe what that baby went through, man. Yeah, and just looking at the facial, the structure of the baby's head and different things, man. Being a parent, you could tell, this baby had look at his eyes. He looks like he was doing a lot of crying, unfortunately, man. And
I don't honestly
sit there all smug.
Honestly, I don't see eyes of crying, and I know there's some people that are asking us to take it down. They're saying it's too hard for them to look at. But when I look at that, I see what I see when I see his sister. It's empty. It's empty. That baby was treated just like his sister. The way his eyes look is,
Angel says, but what made them do it? That's something we can never understand, bro. It takes a psychopath to understand that. There's no justification for what they did. That it should have never come to that. We don't know. What makes that man do what he does and that woman run with it.
And by the way, real quick, I notice, I'm sure Gunnar notices, we notice a lot of new names, man. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. When you hit the subscribe button, those of you that are subscribed, make sure you check your subscription and make sure it's on all. Like Gunnar said, we are going to start leaning more in a different direction. All these guys that want to do the prison genre thing and instead they can have it. They can
have it. Rub it all over your chest.
I gave the system nearly 30 years of incarceration. Not 30, nearly 30 years of probation and all that. I was an idiot, and I gave the system literally my body in custody nearly 30 years. And I'm going to continue to give life lessons along the way, but I think that my knowledge of the system, I can use it in better ways.
Exactly.
I think that's what we're going to start doing.
We've been doing prison-related stories, gang-related stories, having lived that life firsthand accounts for Dubs is going close on to a decade now, 10 years. He's in the 8th, 9th year of this. Thank you, Rad Divorce Dad. We appreciate that, man. And I've been doing them for close to 5.5 years now. And I think it's time for us to move on, leave that in the past, and it's behind us. So that's where it should stay. Again, that doesn't mean, man, if something relevant pops up that we won't do something on it. This is our life experiences. This is what we know. But we're going to lean towards a different type of genre. We're going to evolve. That's right, Dead Mike, evolve. Hey, thank you guys, everyone that's supporting, man. Thank you. We really appreciate that, man. Thank you guys so much. I like when you guys cover current events. Thank you, Brian. We're trying to lean towards that direction.
Yeah,
definitely.
We're looking more towards current events, true crime, stuff like that. because
Oh
we
no,
have,
Westford, the supers are not off the table. You'll get the supers.
yeah, there's certain like I said, I'm still gonna do stuff that I
Yeah.
feel. I was telling Gunner about a prison story the other day, and it was just,
Yeah.
it wasn't content. It was just he and I chopping it up, and he's like, "Man, you should make that a video." And I may make that a video. You know, we'll see.
Yeah. We got. I mean, like I said, it's there's going to be still prison stories in our. I mean, that's our life. The majority of our life was spent behind the walls and bars, so it's hard to stray away from that. Call it institutionalized. I don't think that's the word for it at this point in our lives, but it's definitely something that we think about every day. That's the way of not going back. Never forget where you came from, right? Those that forget go back because they forget how it was and how it is. I don't. I slipped once a couple years ago, and that 5 days was worse than any time I've ever done, period. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
You know, so that's just how it is, man. And that's just what it is. I know a guy that got and walked out and picked up other charges. It happens all the time, unfortunately. Thank you, Gina. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm new here, but love that you are real. God bless. And we're happy to see you. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support, and we're going to continue the coverage on this case as well as others. And we're going to bring some awareness. You know?
Something else we wanted to let you guys know, because again, we're seeing a lot of new people.
Yeah.
On Fridays and Saturdays, we play music and we have drinks. But we're going to be doing more of these lives that have topics where we can have great discussions. But Friday and Saturday, everybody let their hair down. If you drink, if you don't, bring your punch, bring your soda, whatever it is, bring your water. We play good music, and we still had good conversations, but more than anything, good laughs.
And I get a good buzz, and then I say whatever's on my mind, and it makes for good shorts. It makes for the trolls to have good content too, because I say some crazy stuff. Dead Mike says we let loose. West Kirk, I'm not new, just new account. That's right, man. We appreciate you, brother. Tommy the Shields, questionable music. Not really questionable music. It just depends on what you like. We play a little bit of everything. If you call R&B music questionable, well, then I guess you're one of those guys that feels a certain type of way. I grew up in the era when good R&B was good R&B, so I always reflect back to the 90s.
And I grew up in the era where men were men and women were proud of it. So if I feel like listening to R&B, believe me, I still feel like a grown ass man.
I don't give a hell what you guys say. Ain't no one messing with Jodeci. So there you go. Still no charges for Raja. Yeah, no charges yet. And it's starting to make me believe that no charges will be filed.
There very well may not be, but it also boils down to when Stu is starting to regain more and more memory, how he feels. But from everything I've heard, and I haven't heard a lot, but from what I have heard, Stu's a really good-hearted dude. And I'm sure he would take into consideration Raja's age and the fact that he got baited and he bit. And hopefully, hey, nobody needs Raja, I'm talking to you. Raja Rampage, I'm talking to you. Nobody needs to hear about it. Nobody needs to know about it, but you should reach out to people that know Psycho Stu, and you should apologize to him.
Have a conversation. You know what? And this is a good thing too. Maybe this is the learning experience that he needs. Maybe this is the eye-opening without doing time that, it's like, hey, if Psycho Stu is willing to let it go, maybe get some compensation out of it. I don't know, right? Rampage could kind of help out there. Pay for his doctor bills at least. Maybe, he's not at work, so he's not making money. I don't know. They could work something out, but this could be a good learning experience for Raja. It's still not going to change the fact that he's blackballed from mixed martial arts forever. Yeah. But hey, that's part of the game. You have to stand on whatever you do in life.
Well, I don't know if you heard what Rampage said. I guess Rampage has some Japanese kids. He says for his Japanese kids, he's saving up for college, and for his other sons, he's saving up for bail. He said that.
What an idiot.
What a dad, right?
Yeah. What's up, Shades of Clarity? How you doing, man? Again, man, this is a night for justice for Emmanuel, and we want to focus on him and not the monsters. Let's give prayers for him and that he's brought home.
Thank you, Bev.
Intact. Thank you, Bev, so much. I appreciate that. And we want to see this child. And again, those of you that can't look at the picture, we have to see the baby. That's the problem, is nobody was seeing him. It's time to see him. For once, let them be
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
That's the problem. People ignore when people are doing things to children in front of them, and they just mind their own business and they don't pay attention. They're basically invisible to the world. Well, now he's not invisible. So now I look, and this only is an example for people when you're in society, that if you see a child being abused or neglected, or even your own family members not treating their children right, it's time for us to step up, man. That's the way you could do your part. Doesn't mean you have to beat someone up, but you could definitely take that child. You know, I could. Let me tell you something, man. I was with the chick. True story. This is the way it is. I was with the chick. Took my daughter over there. I was with this chick. We were together. She had children. She had a daughter my daughter's age. So we're having a birthday party for one of her sons. I'm in the back barbecuing. I noticed my daughter. I could tell by the look she gives me something ain't right. How do I know this? Because I know my child. I know when she's sad, mad, every emotion. So I could see by the look in her face something was wrong. So I told her, come here. She comes over and I said, what's wrong? And she says, tell him. She has the other little girl. The other little girl explains to me that her older brother, who was a 22, 23-year-old that lived there, had been doing bad things to her and tried to go in the room that night. And my daughter said, we had spent the night. My daughter said, there was someone trying to get in. I did not hesitate. You get in the car, we're gone. I took them to my sister's pad, asked my sister for advice because, you know, I got my daughter's my daughter, but I got another. What do I do? That's good. You pulled her out of that situation. My sisters did what they did. Their friends called CPS, got them involved and everything. Come to find out, this dude was a registered fucking what he was. His mother was letting him live in the home he wasn't supposed to be in around her children, and he was still continuing to do it. I saved that child, right? So, and my child, I was pissed. I doubled back. He was gone though, but that's a different story. The thing is, you should be able to tell as a parent when your child is emotional, anything like that.
And you know, look, I've said this before, and you know, I didn't live in a home. I was never sexually abused. I was physically abused. I used to get the dog shit beat out of me on an almost daily basis when I was a kid. Never to the fact where I was shook as a baby and stuff like that. Yeah. But my mom had me like 3 months after she turned 16. Both of my parents were very young. Both of my parents were wild childs in the streets, gang member. They did not have that figure, that parental figure that they could look at and pattern how to be a parent after. I didn't know that. So when I was a kid and I was growing up and I would get the dog shit beat out of me, I used to ride my bike. I was a dirty little grubby kid. I would be on my bike in the streets all day, all night, because I didn't want to go home. If I walked in that house, one of them might whoop my ass, right? And what that did, like going back to what you're saying, what that did was by the time I was 8 years old, I had already developed an idea of what the world was. I knew family members knew I was getting beat up. Nobody helped me. The schools called the cops. The cops came to the house. Nothing happened. My teachers knew. Everybody knew. That's where the root of my evil, when I was a criminal, was there. To me, it was me against the world. Every single authority figure was out to hurt me, never help me. And so I was able to justify and make myself a victim. No matter who I victimized in my criminality, I was always the victim. And you know, and all of you guys that have been to prison, you know this. When we're in prison and you're telling your war stories, it's always the cop's fault, the DA's fault, the jury's fault. Your cellie's going to tell a story, and it's the DA's fault. It's once we're in prison and we become man enough to realize, hey, you know what? Maybe I came into a shitty household, but they didn't know how to love me any other way. They still love me. I know my mom and dad love me. I lost my mom. My dad loves me till this day. He knows there was some fucked up shit that happened, but they didn't know how to be parents. But at the end of the day,
they were still kids themselves.
I told my mom, look, you guys that are new don't know, my mom committed suicide after the Pelican Bay riot. I was in Pelican Bay when the riot happened. And 4 months later, she couldn't take it. Seeing it all blasted all over the world media, knowing her son is a fuck up and I'm there, it ate her up. But I used to always tell her because she was depressed and everything. I used to always tell her, once you guys stop having to change my diapers, I made every damn decision. And I made a lot of wrong ones, and it's not your fault, you know? So there's a lot of kids, man, that are going through stuff. And that's why I never, you know, when I hear these other channels that bang on, you know, and they bash people that get involved in gangs or in drugs, I'm like, hey, Holmes, you used to be the same thing. I don't know what got you into it, but a lot of people that had trauma at home, That was their escape, gangs or drugs. And have some compassion and let's try to help them out.
Yeah. That's why, in our era, and my mother tells me your era sucks. She tells me as far as parenting, right? You guys, I don't know what happened to you guys. And I said, well, it was on you. You were our parents. You beat the hell out of us is what it was. And it was, I think the era before us, they were having kids very young. It was the 70s. It was the 60s. It was party time. It was flower power. They were having young. They were out there doing their thing. They were very young. In our era, it started to become very gang related, self-centered, selfish, narcissistic ways. Everybody wanted to be that gangster. Everybody wanted to be that one, right? So we focused more on the streets and being with women, numerous women and all this, right? And we had kids that we weren't there for as men. And then women had different baby daddies because they were, going from man to man, trying to find that right one, but always finding the wrong one. Everybody's pickers were broke in our era. And so we were young having kids. And myself, I can't say that because I didn't have my first child till I was 19 because I was incarcerated throughout my youth, right? Still, that's young to have a child, I didn't even have my shit together. I'm over here having kids. But to the normal person, like you said, your parents loved you. Does my parents love me too? I got my ass whooped continuously, right? But you never had that feeling that they didn't love you. You knew they loved you. They just didn't know how to.
No, I didn't. Back when my mom and dad lived together,
I knew my mother loved me. I just knew that she'd beat the shit out of me.
I didn't have that in me when I was a kid. I didn't believe that I was loved.
You didn't feel love. You didn't feel
not at all. I went to the streets for love, and that was fake love. And it took me forever to realize that,
No, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of us turn towards the streets.
Somebody was asking how old we are. I'm 51 and Gunner's 46.
47. Yeah, 47, 51. So we're grown men. We've already hit that threshold in life where we're all the way grown, right? Meaning there's no childish thinking. We have fun. We have a drink. We listen to music. We're human, right? But we're doing man things every day in our life. We're taking care of our households.
Thank you, Patricia.
We're in our children's lives. We're doing our thing. Thank you, Patricia. And we had to grow up the hard way. We went through the system as youth, the youth authority. We went into prison young. We did extensive amount of time. I mean, we've been through it all. Thank you, Blue. Appreciate you, girl. Baby boomers are horrible parents. They were all doing liberal stuff.
Hold on. I want to read Wes. Wes says, now my mom told me to my face she can't love me because I'm a walking reminder of her mistake. Hey, you know what, Holmes? Hey, love that woman anyways, Holmes. Love that woman and let her don't get caught up in her misery. That is something I couldn't imagine, but don't get caught up in that, man.
Yeah. We can't let, it's funny because I said it to a homegirl today, man, you can't judge other people by other people's mistakes, things that you've been through in life. It's like women that have men and they can never love their partner the way they want to love them because they let their past relationships dictate their program, right? And that man or that woman has to suffer because of someone else's fucking transgressions and mistakes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It sucks because you can never have a great relationship or be compatible or be there, even though you're trying your hardest. And ultimately that strains the relationship and it's not your fault. And it's really not her fault, man, or his fault. It's because they can't seem to love or trust you or be loyal because of what they've been through. You got to start each relationship out new. You got to love your children more. Love your children more. Even when they're bad and they're doing bad things, they're your children. Love them more. Smother them with love. Let them know. Don't come from a household like where myself and does, where you're questioning the love in your own home. Your home is where you should be safe. The only safe haven you got. Yeah, and when you can't go there, wow. It's crazy, And that's how I feel about Emmanuel. He the only good thing about this, and there's no good thing, but is that he didn't understand yet. He wasn't old enough to understand. He was still baby, but still,
we never know what babies know. You know what I mean? Like
we don't remember.
There's so many weird things that go on with kids. Like I think a lot of us have seen when babies, and I don't want to get into this whole topic, but when you look at a baby and they could be in their little bassinet or whatever, and you see them looking off to the side and smiling, they can see things that we can't see. Their
Yeah.
brain is when they're that age, their brain is open to things that society shuts down in our brains. Because when you're a baby and when you're, say like you're 1 or 2 and you see a kid and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm playing with Jacob. You're like, there's no Jacob. Don't do that. People are going to think you're weird. No, they're probably seeing stuff, but society shuts that down in people. That's not true. Don't believe that shit. Imagine if we encourage that stuff, but like in a healthy way, maybe fucking humanity would get better. There'd be a different channel that opened up. I don't know. I don't want to get into that whole, but I believe we shut down parts of people's brains in early childhood.
And or when the child is trying to talk to you about something and you're just interested, you're watching TV, or you're just caught up doing something else. You're like, I'm not trying to hear all that right now. No, we need to listen more. We need to listen more as a society, man. These are the things we need to do. And one thing I wanted to point out, I said it the other day, me and Dubs agree, and this is going out to everybody. If you know of a child in your family or any child, friends, just a stranger, whatever, and you see that child being mistreated, or you see something not right, or you have a child that you cannot take care of, whether your child was born, with some mental issues, or you just can't seem to do it.
Yeah.
Don't keep the child and even though I know it's your responsibility, if you need help, ask for help. Go find a family member, an agency, whatever you got to do to leave your child with. If you can't take care of your child, don't try, because you're going to become more bitter and more aggressive and more violent towards that child and blame that child for your fucking shortcomings, And I think that's what happened right here. I think that dude has an attitude. He thinks he's just a play gangster. From what I'm seeing, carrying guns, and I see his family with tattoos on their face, I think he wanted to live that life. Wasn't really cut for it, but was living that life and thought he was just a bad motherfucker. Here he does get this stupid ass chick that falls in love with him. She's willing to do anything for him. He has her clothed off in the middle of the country here. They're living in the middle of nowhere, right? And this is all she sees, and he gets her all dope fiend out and just is mean to children, just doesn't care about anything but getting high and doing him, And here she is. This is just how I see it. Could be totally different, but I've seen it before. But I just ask of you, if you guys have anything, man, do your thing.
Absolutely.
That's it. Gun is laying it down. This is 1,000. No, I'm just being honest with you. If you can't control your children or take care of them, and it may not be your fault. You might not just have an understanding of how to do it, or you don't have them feelings, or you don't know how to, or you might have mental issues. Take your kids somewhere safe. Don't think people are going to judge you. Do what's right for your child. Put your child in a safe position. These people could not obviously take care of Emmanuel, and they got rid of him. It's fucking unfortunate. It's stupid.
What's up, Spanky?
Anyways, with that being said, we've been in here long enough, man. We're going to get up out of here. Thank you guys so much, man. We appreciate you guys for coming in tonight. Say a prayer tonight for baby Emmanuel. I got a couple prayers I'm going to say for him. And again, man, if you know any child in need, reach out to someone. Don't be ashamed to do it. It's us against them. Them are the devils.
Yeah. And I just want to say a thank you for all the support. Thank you guys for the donations, man. The donations are what keep us able to put out as much content as we put out. So we really, really thank you guys
so much.
And like I end my videos, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I always end my videos like that, so I felt like ending this live like that.
Yes, and the way I end my videos, you guys all know, there's a new one that's called, and that's the bottom line, because Gun said so. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate you. We're out of here. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.